When do you actually need to utilize the rear brake on a motorcycle? Never. Unless you're doing a wheelie, it can be a lifesaver as it brings the bike down in case you go too far back. But other than that, the front brakes are more than enough, but that doesn't make the rear totally useless. On hills, it saves lives, especially the ones of those who have trouble getting back up them without stalling. When operating a motorcycle on a daily basis, we're told that we should use the rear brake every time you attempt to stop. 70% of the front, 30% rear of your overall braking power. But in reality, there's a huge percent of the street and track riders who rarely touch this thing. That's simply because how powerful the front brakes are on most motorcycles created after the early 2000s, even without ABS. For example, in certain scenarios, when emergency stopping, the front end is so compressed, even the smallest bit of rear brake can upset the rear end, causing it to slide. But again, that doesn't make the rear brake useless, because although the front brakes can practically be responsible for up to 100% of your overall braking power, the rear brake still plays a huge role in stabilizing the bike if you ride on an everyday basis. And here's how. When it comes down to maneuvering the bike and actually manipulating the weight of it, whether you're doing a U-turn or simply just doing slow maneuvers, the rear brake can actually be more dominant. Because when it comes down to slow maneuvers, the biggest mistake anyone can make is pressing the front brake with their wheel turn, as the rear brake is a key factor in stabilizing the bike, keeping it upright as you slowly move or crawl, making it easier to turn. But that's only when you're going slow. At a fast pace, it's a completely different story. And your rear brake is also great for taking off on incline surfaces instead of having to play with the front brake and the throttle trying to get moving. Hold that rear brake to keep you in a stationary position, and once you're actually ready to gain momentum, get into the friction zone of your clutch, and as the bike begins to pull, you lightly get off the rear brake. The truth is, the front brakes are more than enough at times, especially on one of these piss pistols, but when it comes down to the rear, it plays a huge key in stabilizing the bike.